Hi everyone, Break the Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Ski Mask, The Slump God album, 11th Dimension. Here we have the latest full-length LP from Florida SoundCloud rap phenomenon, Ski Mask, The Slump God. And yeah, it's technically his sophomore album. His official full-length debut, Stokely, dropped all the way back in 2018. Though he hasn't been completely silent during that time, in the interim he has put out a few decent but also kind of scant mixtapes that felt like he wasn't living up to his full potential. And if you want to talk about potential, Ski Mask is essentially the definition of it. Because when you talk about the rappers who were making it big, just grabbing attention around the mid-2010s on the SoundCloud platform, to my ears and eyes, Ski Mask just stood out more boldly than any of them, even the artists who went on to be more popular than him. And that's for a few reasons: his speedy and ever-shifting flows, his goofball sense of humor, and very innocent and silly references to a variety of video games and movies and TV shows. Also his very smoky, raspy, distinct vocal delivery. Plus his sense of rhythm is insane. The pockets he hits occasionally on certain beats are just really unlikely and creative. His taste in production tends to run kind of raw and noisy and left field too. The problem is, though, over the years he typically doesn't show up on whole full-length projects in much the same way he does on like a single or in a random freestyle or on somebody else's track. Which again is why I use the word potential, because despite Ski Mask being active now for about a decade, I feel like his full abilities as an album artist and as a songwriter have yet to be completely realized. I mean, it certainly wasn't on that pretty inconsistent debut in 2018. Meanwhile, his mixtapes just haven't had the commercial play they could, given the right beat, proper chorus, a sharp song structure. So I had hopes going into 11th Dimension that we might hear something bigger coming from Ski Mask this time around, given that it is a longer project, 46 minutes, 21 tracks. I mean, I wasn't crazy about the singles in the lead up to the record, but that's a lot of songs. There's got to be some variation there, at least a few bangers, especially with Future and Juice WRLD features in the mix. But now that I've heard the record several times over, I have to say I'm just kind of shocked and disappointed. Disappointed because I don't think it's that great, but shocked because it's been 6 entire years since his last official full-length. 6. That's a lifetime in the music industry these days. Countless one-hit wonders come and go within that span of time. And also in this span of time, Ski Mask is showing no growth or evolution at all, and is essentially on this record just giving us a bunch of cobbled together freestyles with no flow, no structure, no plan, no cohesion, which is something I guess you could pull off if you're like lyrically at the level of a Lil Wayne, going on crazy, witty, clever, layered lyrical tangents with bars abound. But even with all of his personality and unique flows, Ski Mask is just not touching that rim here, especially given that the biggest highlights mostly feel like songs that would have been passable on previous projects like Stokely, as well as Beware the Book of Eli. I mean, for sure, there are some fun beats and quirky bars on some of these tracks, but that's an angle Ski Mask has been working for ever now, and he's just not adding to it with consistency or ambition. He's rapping on this thing like it's supposed to be his breakout project, when at this point, in SoundCloud rapper years, he's a veteran. I mean, it's great to see him finally put out a sizable project, but I feel like going at this length without actually taking any risks or improving upon his songwriting craft, he really only just exposes his weak points as an artist. Cause Monsters, Inc. with Future is just about one of the most generic trap cuts I've heard in years. The closer with Corbin is kind of a surprise, but I don't know if an 80s spacey synth pop thing is quite Ski Mask's vibe. Meanwhile, the lead single to the whole thing, Shibuya, yeah, it just kind of features one of those distorted, cycling, repetitive rage beats with a super typical flow over it too. No more, no less. It just feels like Ski Mask is painting by the numbers within a style that is just trendy right now. There are plenty of other songs on here though that feel more or less his usual speed, succeed given past output. But again, the structure and flow of these tracks mostly feels just like they're random freestyles that he busted out within a couple afternoons. Some of the freestyles aren't even that good or dense. Like By Myself, for example, it just feels really padded out with refrains with only a few bars to be had. For every bar Ski Mask drops that's pretty good or maybe a little funny, he'll put out another that makes no sense or is a bit cringe. Like this simile over here dealing in Vikings but with no kilts, when historically and culturally Vikings and kilts have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, the record does have a lot of these lyrical misfires, and a bulk of its runtime is just Ski Mask kind of playing to expectations, but there are still some highlights to be had. TUK-TUK goes hard and has a dark, danceable beat and a stellar flow that emphasizes the groove of the instrumental really well. Then the track featuring Juice WRLD is totally insane, mega high point on the record. These guys are bouncing off of each other like they're in an insane asylum wearing straitjackets, doing a two-man mosh pit. There are other tracks here that are okay, are listenable, show some decent potential given their quirky production choices and unique flows, like Him Jong-un, From Yard as well, Mandalorian 2. But again, the writing, the structuring, as far as building these tracks out into what feels like songs, they're too half-baked, they're too casual. I mean, he's putting in quite a bit of effort on the lyrical and the flow front sometimes with these cuts, but without proper choruses and better song structures to showcase this effort well, all of it just kind of ends up breezing by, which is why I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this album. Hey, what's going on here?
You're in jail, Mr. Fantano. You're being brought to justice for your crimes against music.
Hey, we live in a free country. I'm allowed to have as many crappy music takes as I want.
Nope. Sorry, you ran out of bad takes. You're not allowed to have no more. You're going to jail for good.
Oh no! Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or a link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Ski Mask, forever.